I mean, why is society so upset about people thinking negative stuff? Actually, it's not for thinking this stuff that society really punishes you, it's for expressing it. Which is just ridiculous because if you're thinking it anyway, what changes if you express it? Does it mean society cares this much about the ignorance is bliss concept? Also, everyone can live in an illusion, imagining people think good things about them and that people are all kind and great, while turmoil roils in everyone's heads. The logic of this baffles me. Even if you're stuck with no alternatives, there is no reason why you shouldn't complain or try to make things better with what you got, even if you're not the one in charge, because it's just the rational course of action. If I'm gonna be someplace, any place I don't really like, but depend on, why can't I come in and find something irrational about the conduct of this place and complain about it or criticize it? Just because it's not my place? Well, I'm a rational person. I'm supposed to dumb myself down to someone else's level and agree with everything just because they hold the ownership title to the place? This comes back to something I used to do as a child, like when I called my mother a thief and whore when I would get mad at her. I'm not supposed to do that because I've been told so, and because I've been told I'm not in charge earning all the money and whatever. So, because of that, I was supposed to become stupider than I am and instead force myself to make myself out to be whatever this perfect image of a 10-year-old boy is supposed to be. Think how hard this would be for you if you're a child. Here's another example. What if you're a child who heard about atheism and found it rational, but happen to have parents that are very religious? Is this child supposed to keep going to church with them because that's what the parents want? Is this child supposed to pretend to be stupid and primitive by acting religious, even though she or he are not anymore? I don't see what society sees in any of this that makes sense. There are also so many things society intrudes into that has nothing to do with their lives at all. Like what Skylar has done has nothing to do with any of you. It doesn't affect law enforcement and whatever their strange desires may be to obsessively enforce some printed words on sheets of paper. It has nothing to do with the jury Skylar will have to face, or the judge. It doesn't affect their lives. You can all go about doing whatever the hell you've been doing, whether Skylar would have been caught or not. What would have changed for any of you if Skylar hadn't been caught? Yet, it's these people to whom it shouldn't matter who are going to decide his fate. I bet I wouldn't even be allowed to be involved in this decision, simply because I understand his trauma and psychology too much. It's always the people with the least understanding of the defendant's psyche and his pain and trauma are the ones that are chosen as the best judges. Of course, that makes so much sense. Imagine yourselves in Skylar's position. Would you want to be like that? Oh, but I know, you're all good, wonderful folks who, in his place, would have probably made everyone get along and bring peace to his family if you were in his place, so no one would die and everyone would be happy. You are so enlightened with all these wonderful understandings of how life works and you all understand how hardworking and wonderful everyone's parents are, how important it is to have love and respect for your parents, how important it is that kids must always do as the parents say. Or maybe more likely you're brainwashed into believing this. You're brainwashed. You have no idea that it was all just luck, that you grew up with an ability to have minds that think like this, and not in some other unfortunate ways. For all of us, who we turn out to be was decided by something similar to a huge lottery, with outcomes we can't control. Yet, whoever came away from this lottery as a law-abiding citizen without a mind that suffers through crazy impulses, you came out winners. This same lottery could have created Skylar's existence in a wonderful family, with wonderful, loving people instead of the family members he got. But it didn't. Maybe your existence had put you into a great, wealthy family where you were spoiled. No one was ever a pain in the ass to a point where you want to strangle them or crush their skull. And you turned out to be a great, nice person. Everyone around you was rational, so you all agreed on everything together and there was no discourse. For you, it probably was not like it was for me, where you're the rational, precocious child and everyone in charge of you is a retard. But what if your fate had been decided in a way where you couldn't get along with everyone in your family? Would you still turn out the same person, this good, wonderful person you claim to be? You think you would always end up the same exact person, no matter how you were raised since you were a baby. You do realize that if who your parents were was changed, if your history is changed, where lots of bad shit and abuse happened to you instead of good stuff, if the financial status of your family was changed from comfortable to poor when you were born, you would have a drastically different outcome of who you are. You people who succeed to be good citizens are that way because of luck. It wasn't because some choice you made or some moral value you followed. It's all luck. Even the fact that you defend moral values and agree with them is luck, because your brain happened to be structured favorably toward embracing that concept while you were still forming in the womb. Kids like me and Skylar, on the other hand, we were born to suffer, because everything we think is wrong according to everyone's standards, everything we try to do to make things better for ourselves is wrong. You people think hard work equals success? Well, as a writer, I have something to tell you to disprove that. Success doesn't come from hard work. Success comes from luck of the draw and from the right people you happen to know. I worked as hard as I could to create my novel The Dying Mark, to make it as perfect as I can. It still came out imperfect, even stupid, because the way my life is, that the things I find interesting and intriguing, other people find dumb. Doesn't matter, I still put in a shitload of time making it, and I have only sold one copy of it in 5 months. On the other hand, someone like Stephanie Meyer scribbled a Twilight book in 3 months, or something like that, and she has millions from it. Her writing style is laughably bad. It's full of plot holes, and it still made her millions. She did not work hard at all compared to me. Why the hell is she successful and I am not? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't think anyone could have the answer. In fact, I heard you have more chance of winning your fortune gambling in Las Vegas than you have the chance of having your book accepted for publication. So apparently, someone who pulls a lever on a slot machine must have worked harder than I have. See, life is all about luck, just random bad and good luck. You're a good person because random circumstances out of your control made you good. You're bad because random circumstances made you bad. I don't know why Skylar was born to suffer, or why I was born to suffer and be ostracized and not accepted and be bullied. I don't have the answer, like I don't have the answer to the success of Twilight. What's worse is Skylar has to be pondering this answer himself in prison right now. Why was he born to have a bad mother, a bad brother, that in the end run has driven him into this situation? What if these two people chanced to be good, wonderful people instead? He wouldn't be in prison right now. So it's all about luck of the draw. Just like it is for any guy who might be compelled to kill his own wife. What if this guy had run across a woman more compatible for him? Then it's possible he might not have killed her. Would the husband and wife couple then have lived happily instead, and he would have been a good person? So next time you self-righteous people try to rub into someone's face this idea of, I would have never done what Skylar did because I am so and so and such and such, well, you are so and so because fate randomly made you that way. It's nothing to feel high and mighty about. You were all just one card draw away from being in prisons yourselves. You might have been one damaged strand of DNA away, or one damaged brain synapse away from becoming a completely different person, perhaps a sociopath, or someone prone to bipolar disorder, or mood swings, or depression like me. So there's nothing to feel elitist about. Skylar was just less fortunate than you, but he has nothing to do with his own misfortune, just like most of you have nothing to do with your own good fortune. Success and good things happen by the same fucked up quirks of fate as bad things. I play video games like Call of Duty, and I think I learned quite a bit about how luck works in the real world from this game, because nothing better represents chaos theory than this game, because the way real life is set up is not any different than this game. Let's take a look at an example. You know how often I wonder how a lot of my victories in this game don't depend on skill, but simple factors of luck? Let's say I'm running in this game and I come to an intersection on the map. I have to choose, do I go right or do I go left?
No, 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 no!